Hi, it's James here from Mozillion. You can't see my face in this video, but that's okay, as today we're taking a closer look at something far more interesting, Apple's iPhone 11. Please do me a quick favour before we start and like this video and subscribe, and we'll get straight into our review. With so many iPhone models on the market today, including Pro, Max and Mini versions, plus the increasingly popular choice to buy a refurbished phone rather than buy a brand new model, it can all be a bit overwhelming. So in this video, we're going to look at the hugely successful iPhone 11 model, what we love about it, and what we're not so keen on. If you're upgrading from an older model, such as the iPhone 6, 7, 8 or XR, you'll be really pleased with the 11. A big enough jump in the spec to make the upgrade worthwhile, without the bigger price tag of the Plus or the Pro models. The iPhone 11 is bigger than the iPhone 12 or 13, but not by a huge amount. And as you'd expect, it's also missing a couple of features versus those two. The screen is a regular LCD display rather than an OLED display. We'll explain why that might matter to you later in this video. Secondly, there's no 5G support, so 5G internet speeds are important to you. That's worth bearing in mind. However, thanks to those two differences, it's also going to cost you less than the iPhone 12 or 13, which will please those who want to save themselves some cash. So first up, let's take a look at the design. The iPhone 11 continues the bezel-free design that Apple pioneered with the iPhone X. The screen's glass runs right towards the edge of every phone, where it tapers slightly towards the metal edge of the chassis. The iPhone 11 is the last phone so far to feature curved edges, which actually help it sit more comfortably in the hand. And if you're planning on accidentally dropping it in water, you'll be pleased to know that the iPhone 11 is waterproof to 2 meters for up to 30 minutes. When it comes to the display tech, the iPhone 11 boasts a 6.1-inch LCD display. Now, I mentioned earlier that this is a different screen tech to the iPhone 12 and the 13, which use OLED screens, as to the iPhone 11 Pro and the iPhone 11 Pro Max. The key difference between those screen technologies is an OLED screen is made up of millions of tiny little LED lights, while an LCD screen has one backlight and millions of tiny shutters that can be opened or closed to let light through. So what does that actually mean in practice? Well, in theory, an OLED screen uses less power, offers higher brightness and contrast. Side by side, you may notice the difference, but the reality is the iPhone 11's display is just fine and perfect for viewing photos, playing games and watching Netflix on the train. Speaking of photos and videos, let's take a look at the cameras. Apple tend to make evolutionary changes to the iPhone's already impressive camera setup, and there's not really a huge physical difference between the iPhone 11 and iPhone 12 cameras. At the front, the 12 megapixel true depth camera on the 11 offers portrait mode for those nice looking people shots with the blurred backgrounds, and it supports 4K video recording at up to 60 frames per second. The iPhone 11's dual camera system on the rear offers wide and ultra-wide lenses. Minor updates for the iPhone 12 saw it get an improved sensor and wider aperture wide lens to improve low light performance, but the iPhone 11 doesn't miss out on much else. Its 12 megapixel camera offers a 2x optical zoom, enhanced by up to 5x digital zoom. There's optical image stabilization to help with shaky hands, night mode, portrait mode, and some really impressive video capabilities. It doesn't support HDR video recording with Dolby Vision, and there's no night mode time-lapse, but that's unlikely to be of interest to most users. The camera is always responsive and seems to focus quickly and accurately in most conditions. The iPhone 11 can resolve images in surprisingly dark conditions, even if an iPhone 12 or newer may add a bit of extra quality to the results. Now let's take a look under the hood at performance. Apple has built up a considerable performance advantage over rival phones thanks to its own extremely efficient Bionic chips. Even at the launch of the iPhone 13, powered by the A15 Bionic chip, the competition still hadn't caught up with the iPhone 11's own A13 Bionic processor, which means it's still one of the best chips you'll find in a smartphone today. In everyday use, the iPhone 11 always feels fast, responsive and fluid. Start up a demanding app and it'll usually be the same story. Run some benchmark tests and you'll soon discover why. In our testing, the iPhone 11 achieved a single core Geekbench 5 score of 1,334. Now that's less than the 1,590 that we recorded on the iPhone 12, but it's significantly more than the 1,100 you'd get from even a OnePlus 9 Pro. And when it comes to how long a charged battery will last, Apple makes similar claims for the iPhone 11 and the iPhone 12. In fact, our tests actually suggested that an iPhone 11 can actually go slightly longer between charges. It managed to loop an HD video for 14 hours and 45 minutes. That's almost an hour longer than the iPhone 12. It doesn't hang about when charging either. Hooked up to a 20-watt charger, the empty iPhone hit 50% in 28 minutes, and it went on to reach 80% in just 55 minutes. You can add a useful amount of charge after just a few minutes plugged in, thanks to fast charging. Alternatively, you can top it up with a wireless charger, as it's wireless charging compatible too. There's 6 colours available. The smaller capacity is a bit on the stingy side these days if you like to shoot loads of video or keep large photo or music libraries on your phone. But that said, the 64 gig iPhone 11 is one of the lowest priced iPhones still available, and is even cheaper if you buy a refurbished model on Mozillion. Now onto the build quality and things to look out for. New or refurbished, it's rare to find build issues with iPhone 11, so the reliability shouldn't be a problem. It's more likely that an iPhone will pick up scratches or even suffer a smashed screen over time, so we always recommend keeping one in a case, and you might want to consider a screen protector too. Just like any phone, the battery will degrade over time. You can monitor this on the iPhone by opening up the settings app and then choosing battery and battery health. Most refurbished phones still have plenty of life left. So to wrap up, not every iPhone is a huge step forward, but the iPhone 11 is a great jump up from the previous models. And if you can buy it refurbished rather than brand new, you save yourself some extra cash too. If you have any questions about the iPhone 11 or indeed any phone, just drop us a note in the comments. Hit the subscribe button to be notified of the next video. We've got closer looks at the iPhone 12, 13 and the 14 series all coming up very soon. Thank you for watching, and if you're looking to buy or sell a phone, head on over to Mozillion.com.